Dr. Kemi Lawrence, Part 3, Persecuted IJ. In Part 2, I ended by saying that we arrived in Asaba, Delta State. The police officers kept driving and still didn't tell me where we were going. I was now assuming we were going to Port Harcourt. I had no phone, I had no access to my phone to look up the map and see where we were or where we were going, but I was just looking at street signs and all. As we arrived in Asaba, they wanted to buy petrol, and I told them I needed to use the bathroom and I needed to poop. So they asked me to come out and go to the back of the petrol station. I had to walk down behind the petrol station to the building where they usually sell snacks, and the toilet is in the back. The toilet was there, filthy shit from like 4 days ago, no water, you know, the whole public toilets in Nigeria. The truth is that I really didn't want to use the toilet. I wanted to kill those officers because I didn't know who they are, where they were taking me, but I needed to get the AK-47s. I lived in America for years, and we have gun licenses for legal carrying of arms and stuff. And I've been to a gun range before, so I know exactly how to fire guns. But this was an automatic rifle. These were police officers who I didn't even know who they are, and they kidnapped me. But I wanted to overpower them. So I stood in the toilet area and I was looking at them from afar to see where they were going. They walked into the store to buy snacks. I walked right behind, right across back to the hillocks. And on my getting there, one of them was already in there, so I couldn't grab the gun. My mind was raw. I wanted to defend myself by spraying everybody. I knew the consequences. They'd probably arrest me and throw me in prison, and all the news would be hot, saturated, everything. But could it be like a by suicide or what? You know what I mean? Like, some people would shoot up everything and then shoot themselves up. But I didn't know what I was really doing because I didn't know who these people are. I was abducted by police. And I've seen people abducted by police in Nigeria and killed. So I lost that opportunity and I got back into the car. They bought some snacks for me and drinks. I did not take them because I felt they would have poisoned them. Something very common with Nigerian police. They will poison the food and drink and eliminate you that one time. So they drove me on and on and on. We passed Onitsha. Onitsha, there was a beautiful bridge over there, Onitsha Bridge. We passed there. I pretty much saw like the most of South, South, and Southeast in one day. Finally, we arrived in somewhere called Owerri. It's been almost 10 hours in that hillocks. They now stopped at a tantalizer restaurant. They told me to come out and pick some food I want to eat because they figured I couldn't eat since I left, and I refused to eat what they brought for me without me being there. So I went down and I bought rice and chicken. I took my bag of rice and chicken and I got back in the hillocks. Leaving Owerri, the next stop will be Port Harcourt. I saw a sign and I asked them, are we going to Port Harcourt? They now answered yes after a 10-hour trip. So you came to kidnap me from Ibadan to Port Harcourt for a pastor. You filed a charge against me. The pastor couldn't file the charge in Port Harcourt or couldn't come to Ibadan to file the charge, but instead, you came to pick me up. The officer said, yeah, and we were paid 1 billion naira for it. 1 billion naira? Who paid you 1 billion naira? Don't worry. The IGP was paid 1 billion naira. That's what David said. The IPO. I didn't forget that. Did Pastor Ibiyomi really pay the Nigerian police 1 billion naira to arrest me and kidnap me and take me to Port Harcourt? You will hear more in this docuseries. If you still think you're living in Nigeria in a safe place, you're not. Money and power, you know what they do in Nigeria. Before I tell you what happened when we arrived in Port Harcourt, there was a police officer I met in Femi Fanikayede's house in 2021. That police officer is known to many of you because you always see him wearing a suit and walking behind Femi like one of his CIA guards. Glasses and suit and all. That guy was introduced to me by Femi when I went to Abuja for the first time in May 2021. And Femi said he wants to ask me for forgiveness. Why? Who is he? He's a former Nigerian police officer who works as private security for him now. He was the one that planned your entire movement from Ibadan to Port Harcourt. I looked at him. I said, you want me to forgive you, right? Forgive you for what exactly? What did you do? And I started recording him. He did not know. I turned on my recorder, audio. I know how you feel about what you said on TVC. I was on TVC sitting down and describing how I plan to kill police officers with their own gun because they kidnapped me. I didn't know who they are. When I went back to my hotel, TVC booked me in a hotel. They brought me from Ibadan to Lagos. I got a phone call from the two IPOs, David and Justin, begging me for forgiveness, saying that if I had actually killed them on that day, their wives would have suffered for the rest of their lives. And that did I know that police widows are the ones that suffer the most? When a policeman's wife, when a policeman is killed, the wives have no more breadwinner. They become mere widows and they go into deep poverty. Their lives turn upside down. I know that. I was a volunteer for Toronto Police. I know what it is to lose a police officer as a husband in foreign countries. But at least they treat theirs well. They said if I had killed them, regardless of what would have happened, their wives and children would have suffered the rest of their life. They want to thank me for that. So you know those things can happen, and you treat somebody with no human right or dignity. And you didn't talk to them for 10 hours in a 12-hour trip. You ignored them. That was torture for me, Nigerian police. Torture! You tortured me. You tortured me. You damaged my psyche. You ruined my life. And everybody comes out wanting to beg for apology and this one. Even the one at Fanikayede's house, who planned everything. Because you don't know tomorrow. Look what happened to 3 people in the case. Anyway, we arrived in Alu, Port Harcourt, and we went to the Federal SARS headquarters. What happened in Alu will shock you. They were executing people there. They were shooting people inside the police station and executing them as soon as they brought them in for stealing or allegedly stealing. Anytime you steal, you're supposed to go through the system. You'll be charged to court, you'll be prosecuted and sent to the prison. What I saw in Alu as a journalist were they were bringing young men 18 to 25 roughly, and they were packing them in there. And every morning they'll take 1 or 2 of them to the back and they'll open fire and shoot them. It's called extrajudicial killings by the Nigerian Police Force, Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS. This is part of why I have suffered PTSD forever. Because I watched so many people killed. Because I watched so many young people, the age of my own children, killed. And a mother came for their children. 2 brothers who left home, and they wanted to see whether they were in the prison. She was describing what they were wearing. And I told her, yeah, they were here. They had executed them. I thought they went to court.